Hey everybody, I hope you're having a blast at the party. I am going to cook with this fabulous quick cooker that we have been talking about all day. So if you watched the earlier video, you know that this is the electric pressure cooker that Pampered Chef came out with just earlier this month, September 1st. And a lot of people are afraid, hey Melissa, are afraid of the pressure cookers because they've heard all these horrible stories, or maybe you already love the pressure cooker. So a couple of things that are a little bit different about ours, and it starts with the handles being lower so it makes it a little easier to move. I like the fact that it is square versus round like the other ones, and one of the reasons I like that so much is it makes it so much easier to clean around here afterwards. We have the 16 settings that was talked about earlier in the video, and probably the thing I like the best is the fact that the steam release is so far away. I no longer have to release the steam with a spoon or something like that like I did with my other pressure cooker. So tonight I am going to be making a homemade chili in the pressure cooker, and we'll get it all set up and set it to run. And then later I will shoot some pictures to show you the finished product. So we're just going to go ahead and start with a sear. And I'm going to start with our garlic infused canola oil. It calls for olive oil, but I love the flavor of our garlic infused. So I'm just going to put a little bit in here, and we are just going to sear the onion and bell pepper. So I'm going to go ahead while it's warming up and get that going. So this is a fabulous little tool. It's called the scoop loop, and it just comes in here, and we are able to just scoop out all of the seeds and veins by just twisting. If you have something smaller like a tomato or something like that, you may need to use the smaller end, but it just gets all those veins out really quickly with just a twist. We are going to take this and we are going to dice it up in the manual food processor. And one of the things I really like about our manual food processor is when it comes to the onions and the peppers, particularly the onions, I no longer have to stand around and cry while I dice them up. So the more that you push on the manual food processor, the smaller the dice is going to be. It's very similar to our food chopper. The difference is this has a lid. It also comes with a storage lid, so if you prep ahead of time, you can put the stuff back in the fridge until you're ready for it. The one thing you need to know about the manual food processor, it's really important as you're filling it up that you don't go above halfway, because if you do anything above about halfway, it is not going to chop it up for you. So you may need to do it in a couple of batches depending on how much you have to chop up. And then we just chop, 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 chop. And the more you chop, the more you push, the smaller it gets. So we have our diced bell pepper all nice and ready to go. So I'm just going to pop it in here and let it start sauteing. And it's talking to me because I forgot to hit the start button. So we're just going to let it warm up while I continue with the onions. It talks to me when I first take the lid off, and sometimes I forget to push start. Life in Cheryl's kitchen. So I'm going to just finish up with the top of the bell pepper, and then we're just going to do the onion in quarters or eighths, depending on how big your onion is. And we're going to do it in the food processor as well. And like I said, I really enjoy doing the onions in that because I no longer have to stand around and cry, because it keeps all of that gas or fumes or whatever it is that makes our eyes water all contained in our food processor. The great thing about the food processor, besides the fact it has that wonderful little lid and it dices stuff up for you, other than the lid, it is dishwasher safe. I hate, with a passion, washing dishes. So anything I can do, as much as I love to cook, I hate to clean. So anything I can do to not have a bunch of dishes to clean, I am thrilled with. Which with the Quickcooker, the base of it, the stainless base, is dishwasher safe. The bottom you wipe down, and then the lid you need to hand wash, and it cannot be submerged underwater because it will get into the crevices and things like that. Had a couple of pieces of onions. I overfilled my manual food processor just a little bit, and I had 2 slices of onion that didn't really get chopped up, so I'm going to pull those out real quick. Continue with that. So with this homemade chili, I am using some stew meat. The one thing I will say, you're going to have better luck with the better quality of meat that you have, and that's pretty much with anything that you are going to cook. Sometimes the lower quality meats, no matter how you cook them, are going to turn out a little bit tough depending on how you cook that. But tonight I'm going to use some stew meat that I have, and we are just going to continue to just sear the onions and bell pepper. And then in just a second, I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, I'm not. I thought for a second I was making stew, which was my original plan. So with this recipe, we're actually not going to brown the meat at all. We're just going to saute the vegetables. And then we are going to put in the beef. We're going to put in our seasonings, which is some chili powder, some cumin, salt, pepper, oregano, and then we are going to put in diced tomatoes, a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes, and a 6-ounce can of tomato paste, and we're going to put 2.5 cups of water in. Now the thing about the pressure cooker, and I'm going to grab my other one really quick. I do actually have 2 of these bad boys. I'm not sure how well you can see. There are actually 2 lines in here. There's a line for the halfway up and a line for 2/3 up. With this, you cannot go above that 2/3 line because that's where the pressure builds, which is what is actually cooking your food. You need at least a cup of liquid, depending on what you're cooking, because that is where the steam comes from. Now, one of the things that is a little bit different with our pressure cooker as well is we have the ability to cook a pot within the pot. So we have a couple of accessories that you can buy, or you can get it together as one set. We have this beautiful little ceramic pot. So Saturday I did a party and I made a salsa chicken. So I made a salsa chicken in the bottom, and one of the things that I love the most about this is you can take frozen meat and stick it in and it will come out perfectly. There's no reason to defrost it. So I took frozen chicken, I made salsa chicken with it, but then I took our pot within a pot. Let me find my little accessories. Sorry, I wasn't planning on talking about this in this one. I put my chicken down, and then I put this stand in the bottom. Then I put my rice and my water inside the ceramic pot, covered it with a silicone lid. Then our handy dandy little cradle. It's the only way you can get these pots in and out of here. So we put the ceramic pot inside. We're able to put this down on top of the meat. These little handles fold in, and we can make rice at the same time or some other side at the same time as we're making the meat. One of the things I really love about it is I can do my main meal and my sides all at the same time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. We've sauteed the onions and the bell pepper. I'm just going to put our stew meat in, plop it right in there. And then I'm going to add the chili powder, the cumin, the oregano that I've already measured out. I'm just gonna drop that in there. And it actually calls for some pressed garlic. I ran out of garlic, and the fact I'm leaving tomorrow to go up to Dallas Fort Worth, I did not go get some more. So I just used some garlic powder that I had here. Now the nice thing about pressed garlic is it gets all those essential oils into the food and gives it that much more flavorful than what you're gonna get from just the powder. All right, so now we are going to take our 6 ounces of tomato paste, and we're gonna use our, hang on just a second, it's been a long day. Our can opener, and slip it on there. We're gonna twist, 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 and it's the smooth edge can opener. I couldn't think of that word. So when it's done, we're gonna take it and we're gonna just use these little clippers on the end. Pull that bad boy off. Well, I said we are. Doesn't want to let go. And I can feel that it's cut because you can feel when it lets go. Well, it's a nice thing about going live. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. So now you can see that we have this nice little smooth edge on both of them to where you are not going to get cut. I'm going to scoop our tomato paste in here. And then we're going to go with our 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. And then we're going to add our water. The other thing that I love about this is if you do dry beans, you don't have to soak those overnight or do anything. You can just put them in here like I made beans last night. So I just took the dry beans, put them in, I put it on the bean setting, and in about 40 minutes we had perfect beans for dinner. You can do the same thing with this chili. You could add some dry beans without soaking them or anything else, and when you push the chili stew setting, it is going to cook those beans to perfection while it is making the chili. You can make so many different things in this. I'll be doing another live tonight in a different show, and I'm actually going to make a cheesecake in my other quick cooker. You can make yogurt, you can make pudding, you can make breakfast, whether it be oatmeal, even steel cut oats. It is very, very, very versatile. And I've not done it yet, but you can also proof bread and make bread from the proof setting and then finishing it up inside the oven. So we need 2.5 cups of water. And then all we're going to do is we're going to put that lid on, and we're going to push the chili setting, and we're going to let it do its magic. So when it is done later, I will take some pictures of it and show you how it turned out. And I want to go ahead and show you on this lid, it's really important that this button is not depressed and that this is set straight. I'm not sure how well you can see. There's actually a little picture of a steam cloud on here, just like there is here. They both need to be going the same direction. If they're not going the same direction, the pressure is not going to build up. The other thing, because this silicone ring comes out and it actually goes in the dishwasher, you need to make sure when you get it back in there, make sure that it's set correctly, because if this is off at all, you are not going to be able to build up that pressure and you're going to have to take it off and restart over again. So we are going to put our little lid on. It's going to talk to us again, and we're just going to turn the knob until we get to the stew and chili setting, and it's going to take about 40 minutes to cook once it comes to pressure. Now, how it comes to pressure is building up that steam inside. So the more stuff that you have in there, the longer it's probably going to take to build up that pressure. But it usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes to build up the pressure. And then depending on what you have, like this stewed chili is going to take 40 minutes for it to cook once it comes to pressure. When it's done, you have a couple of options. You can let the steam release manually, and what that means is you just leave it and it sets. It keeps stuff warm until you're ready for it. And a lot of our recipes call for the manual decompression for about 10 minutes. Some of them don't, so it just kind of depends on what we have going on. Hey, Amelia. So that is what we're going to be doing with this chili, and I'll shoot some pictures later on and show that to you when it's done. I did tell you that for another party, I'm going live and I'm making a cheesecake. We have this cheesecake insert that goes in there as well. Same thing as what I talked about earlier. We have our little stand that will go in the bottom. We'll put a cup of water in the bottom. And then we will use the little cradle and put this in there, and then we will just hit the dessert setting. And it doesn't take, once it comes to pressure, it's been a little while since I made the cheesecake. I want to say it takes like 20 minutes once it comes to pressure for the cheesecake to cook. Then when it comes out, you let it cool completely, and then it does need to go in the fridge for about 2 to 3 hours before it is ready. But it makes this perfect little cheesecake, and so far I haven't had a single one of mine crack on the top cooking it in the quick cooker. If you have any questions over the next couple of days about anything, please let me know. I love to give people recipes. I love to help them out. And I also have a VIP page that you'll be hearing a little bit more about as we go along. And that's where I share a lot of recipes and tips and tricks along the way. But before I take off tonight, I want to tell you about one more item that I've been super excited about. If I can get it out of my crowded cabinets. This just came out August 1st, and I think it is just the neatest thing. And this is our pasta maker, where you can make homemade pasta in the microwave in under 10 minutes. Now, what I love about this, I'm an empty nester. So there are a lot of times that I don't want to cook a big meal anymore. Or maybe my grandkids are over and, you know what, I'm going to let them have whatever they want. Maybe they want some homemade mac and cheese. Instead of going through all that trouble over on the stovetop, I can do pasta elbow macaroni with water. I stick it in the microwave with our silicone lid on for 6 minutes. I let it sit for an additional 2 minutes, then I pull it out and use some evaporated milk and some freshly grated cheese, and I have fresh mac and cheese. We also have recipes for a caprese pasta, for a zucchini lasagna, and all of this makes 1 to 2 servings in this fabulous little pasta maker. So if you are empty nesters, if you have finicky kids, if you have teenagers who like to eat, they can learn to make their own healthy pasta in no time. Also, because the ceramic sometimes gets really hot in the microwave, we have these little cozies that have just come out, and they go in the microwave. So I get everything ready, I get my little ceramic tub in my cozy, I microwave it. I don't need any mitts or anything because I have this. Or for people who like ice cream, our smaller one fits a perfect bowl size, or our egg makers, and hot or cold, it can take care of your hands. So I hope you have a fabulous night. I will take some pictures of the chili once it's done in 40 minutes, and let me know how I can help you. We'll be playing some more games. Talk to y'all later. Bye.